It's time to go back. Back to the past. Sinnoh style. Let's go! Greetings trainers, KuroBlitz here and welcome to another video. Today I'm here to discuss my new theory about the Pokémon Legends Arceus game. This theory consists about the idea that since we are going to the Sinnoh World, we might see some ancient forms or even prior regional variants of Pokémon that we all know and love. Since time change and also culture and society, maybe some Pokémon from the past they had some abilities or even types that they did not have in the present day, and that is the topic that I want to tackle upon. However, I'm going to restrict myself with the 30 evolutionary lines of the Pokémon from the Platinum Pokédex that don't correlate to any Pokémon from the Sinnoh region as we know it. However, before I start, I want to talk about potential regional variants or ancient forms that we can see from Pokémon that are not in the Platinum Dex, but it would make sense to have regional form in the Sinnoh of old. The first Pokémon would have to be Meowth, because Meowth had an Alolan form with the Dark type, a Galarian form with the Steel type, and now in a Sinnoh of old he might have a new type or even a new form of Persian or even Berserker. We do have Glameow and Purugly, so maybe we can see some type of Meowth that could have been in Mount Coronet. I like the idea that it's like a ground or even a rock type Meowth, you know, basically like a mountain lion or something like that. It would be, you know, like a cougar Meowth. It would be very amazing to see. However, not to discredit mountain Pokemon, there is one Pokemon that I believe that it's going to have another form, and that could potentially be Urshifu. We do have Kubfu, and Kubfu, they have, you know, they are known to be, you know, bears. They like honey. They are most likely native to Sinnoh, and maybe in Sinnoh they thrived into a new form of Urshifu that I like to call Mixed Strike Style, and if somehow you could transfer this Pokemon to the Galar game, the Gigantamax would have the purple colors of Eternatus. I would love this idea, but I guess that we have to wait and see, everyone. However, let's start this little countdown of the 30 Pokemon from the Platinum Pokédex evolutionary lines that do not correlate in any way with any Sinnoh Pokemon. I think that to preserve Sinnoh and the Sinnoh species as we know it, we need to give ancient forms or regional variants to the Pokemons of old. So I want to start out with a very famous one, and this would have to be a fighting type Alakazam. I like the idea that, for example, we do have an Abra that instead of focusing on the mind, it focuses on the body. So it could be amazing, you know, having a fighting type Alakazam. Or maybe fighting Psychic, you know, if you trade with anyone, it gets the fighting. If you trade with a Machamp, maybe Machamp gets 4 spoons, and you know Alakazam, they would get, you know, the Machamp's belt, and Machamp, you know, basically channeling the energy from within. Except for the belt, it would be, you know, for the spoons, you know, basically mind controlling body, you know, brain controlling brawn. I think it would be a great idea. Continuing on. I love the idea of a water normal Magikarp that could become a water dragon Gyarados. Yes, this is something that I believe it should happen. Gyarados was robbed of the dragon type multiple times, and if a Charizard can have a Mega, well, Gyarados also have a Mega, but we don't know if Megas are going to be here. So give, you know, water normal Magikarp, like a super powerful Magikarp, that instead of evolving in level 20, evolves at level 40 or something. We first have a water dragon Gyarados. Please, make it happen. Also, Fruit Zubat, you know, a Zubat becomes a Golbat, and a Crobat becomes like a Grass Dark, you know, like a Fruit Bat, you know, instead of being Poison Flying, it's basically Grass Dark. I think would be, you know, an amazing idea. Speaking of amazing ideas, we do have the Geodude line, a Golem that because of the electromagnetic waves on Mount Coronet becoming Rock Steel instead of Rock Ground as we know it, or even Rock Electric like you know in the Alola region. I think that a Rock Steel Golem, it would be amazing. As for the Onix and Steelix, I would love, you know, to preserve the ground type because they are rock grounded and steel ground. However, Yeah, they are rock ground and steel ground. And since ground is the type that maintains, that would be the type that would change. Therefore, Onyx would be rock dragon and Steelix would be steel dragon. This was made as an idea, you know, for potential sequels, where, you know, for example, Roark would have a Sinnohan Geodude, a Sinnohan Onyx, but can you imagine a Sinnohan Onyx and a Sinnohan Steelix being dragon types instead of ground? Because they have Dragon Breath, they have Breaking Strike, they have Dragon Dance, they are basically, you know, they are draconic, like, you know, big serpents, dragons, you know, dragons. Especially, you know, eastern types of dragons. And now that I talk about, you know, the Machamp, yeah, I want to have a Machop line, you know, have a Machamp that, you know, it's focused on the Psychic type. I think it would be, you know, very amazing to see that kind of Machamp. Also for Psychic types, Psyduck and Golduck, you know, come on, give Golduck the Psychic type that it deserves. Not even wet, not even, you know, adding to the water, no, just make it a Psychic Golduck. Maybe it evolves into a third form that we don't know, you know, like how Mr. Mime becomes Mr. Rhyme or something, you know. Yeah, a Psychic Golduck would be amazing. Also, this is the biggest one. This is the biggest one. So, we do have Wurmple, right? We do have Wurmple that becomes Silcoon or Cascoon because of the personality value, and then Beautify and Dustox. So here's the thing. I would make this Sinnohan Wurmple, you know, still a bug type. However, if it evolves in daytime or nighttime, it becomes a Silcoon that's bug normal, or Cascoon that it's bug fairy, and upon learning the moves Morning Sun, that's a normal move, or Moonlight, that's a fairy move, they will become a bug fire Beautifly, you know, the butterfly of the sun, or a bug water Dustox that becomes the moth of the moon. I think this would be amazing. Like, can you imagine bug going into bug normal, then bug fire, and then bug going into bug fairy and bug water? This would be amazing. Speaking of bugs, the old Heracross, it should be bug steel. I love bug fighting, but because of the armor and the Kabuto and whatever more, it should be bug steel. Yeah, continuing on, the Ghastly line. Maybe because they are more spectral and spiritual, maybe the Ghastly line, no, the Gengar. The Gengar could be Ghost Fire instead of Ghost Poison. Can you imagine, like, for example, a Ghost Fire Gengar? That would be, you know, insanely amazing. Continuing on, the Goldeen and the Sea King, nothing special, just to have more stab in the normal moves like Horn Drill and whatever more. Like, make it water normal, you know. Give, like, aid the normal type, but, you know, make them more amazing. Now this one completely neglects the normal type, the water type, sorry, because it's the Wish Cache. This Wish Cache, because being in the Great Marsh in the mud instead of being water ground, it's grass ground, and so is the Barbosh, like a grass ground Wish Cache. This would be amazing. Continuing on. This is a must. Meditite and Medicham should replace the Psychic for the Ice, you know, because of the Gliston shipping, you know, with Meline and also Candice. Yeah, again, this was made for the idea of sequels, but for prequels it could also work. How it could work exactly? Very simple. Arceus in this game, he doesn't have the multi-type yet, so maybe by having the multi-type, the plates split. They went to the underground of Sinnoh, they went to the underwater of the abyssal ruins of Unova and whatever more, and basically the energy of the plates, it emits somewhere, and we have, you know, these Sinnoh forms in the past, you know. Maybe that's how the forms came to be. Maybe these forms are pre-plate separation. But yeah, Ice fighting Medicham, this would be amazing. Speaking of amazing, I know everyone loves Ponyta and Rapidash, and now that we have, you know, the Galarian forms with Psychic and Psychic Fairy, I want a Grass Ponyta, you know, and the Grass Ghost Rapidash. Grass Ghost, you know, maybe very Kelpie, Celtic Light, and also from Dullahan, you know, the Headless Horseman. Can you imagine, like, a Rapidash that has basically the head, but in spectral flames, like very spectral, like, you know, Spectrier? That would be amazing. Speaking of amazing, the Clefairy line, you know, I want for Cleffa, Clefairy, and Clefable to just, you know, they were normal, now they are fairy, but because of the stars and all the black stars, I want for them to get the dark type and want, you know, to become a dark fairy Clefable. Dark Fairy Clefable will be the amazing great thing ever. Now with the iconic Pikachu and also Pichu, maybe we can finally have, you know, maybe instead of having a Raichu in the ancient times of Sinnoh, have Gorochu. Maybe Electric Dark or Electric Fire to, you know, not to Zekrom and then later on Reshiram. But yeah, maybe the Sinnohan version of Raichu, it was in fact, you know, Gorochu. It would be amazing if that was the case, you know. For Hoot Hoot and Noctowl, please, Arctic Owls, with the power of the brain, make them Ice Psychic. Ice Psychic Noctowl? Are you kidding me? This would be amazing. Now, speaking of Pokemons that actually gain the normal type in this What If. Unknown, they are Psychic, however they are the arms of Arceus and they have Hidden Power, and Hidden Power, it's by default a normal move, so make normal Unknown, you know, instead of, you know, being black and white, reverse the colors, make them be, you know, white and black, where they, you know, Wooper and Quagsire, you know, instead of being like, you know, this mudfish creatures, make them actual platypus, you know, platypus-like Pokemon, and and replace the ground type with poison, like a water platypus-like Quagsire. It would be amazing. For Wingull and Pelipper, I would love the idea that, for example, this Wingull and Pelipper, instead of being water, they are dark, you know, dark flying, like, for example, you have the sailor kind of Pelipper, but this was, you know, in the times of revolution and migration, so there were pirates, there were pilgrimage, even in Japan. So I would love the idea, for example, to see like a pirate like, you know, Pelipper. Maybe we can see this one in the anime collide with the Gacha Rocket Pelipper, you know, being the actual evil Pelipper or something. It would be amazing. Now, I would love the idea that Girafarig also getting a Sinnohan form, or maybe even a Sinnohan evolution. They are normal Psychic by default. Maybe they could get, you know, the Grass Psychic because, you know, they are, you know, in the wild, they are in the wilderness, you know. Or maybe a split evolution where, you know, the Psychic becomes dark, you know, because the back gets control of the entire body. For the Azurill line, Azurill, Marill, Azumarill, they are by default normal and then normal fairy and then water fairy. Just replace normal and water for rock, you know, because they have rollout. Make a rock variant of the Marill line, and I want for a rock fairy Azumarill. I think it would be amazing. Just replace the blue with brown and it's done. It's basically like a very effeminate version of Diggersby. It would be amazing, you know. For Remoraid should be electric type, maybe like, you know, a shotgun, and then auxiliary, you know, with molten lava and also shocks, you know, at zap cannons and whatever, you know, because Volkner in the future, maybe that's what inspires Volkner in some capacity, and also Flint. An electric fire auxiliary would be an amazing idea. Speaking of electric types, maybe the back in the day Tentacool, the Tentacool, because the seas were not as explored as they were, maybe the Tentacool were not water, they were electric, and electric poison Tentacool would be an amazing idea. And speaking of water, you know, back again with water normal, Phoebus, and these Phoebus would become a water fairy Milotic. Water fairy Milotic to be a counter and a foil to the water dragon Gyarados. This would be amazing, guys, it would be amazing. Continuing on, Swablu, it's normal flying, Altaria, it's dragon flying, so the thing that I want to, you know, preserve, it's the type that changes. So flying is the type that maintains the same, so flying will be the type that will change. So can you imagine, guys, a normal electric Swablu and a dragon electric Altaria? Thunder cloud versions, you know, instead of being, you know, like white clouds, they are black clouds, they are thunder clouds. Maybe thunderstorms back in the day, maybe they were a weather condition, maybe that's how you evolve Pokemon that normally evolve, you know, with trait evolutions, because we will not have traits, we need electromagnetic waves in some capacity, so thunderstorms could be a thing. We see that Pokemon that looks like a beta Thundurus, so yeah, we can have the Shinto gods, you know, the Kami trio, maybe Sinnohan Forms, and the weather genies.
yeah, give me a Dragon Electric Altaria, for goddamn sake, for Arceus' sake, you know? Ondour and Houndoom. There is nothing, you know, in the names that actually, even in Japanese, that say, you know, they are Dark Fire. So the idea, you know, basically switch around something, maybe Poison, because, you know, they are always used by Team Rocket Prince in the future, so maybe that's what inspires them. Poison Ice, you know, I thought about Fairy Ice, but Poison, you know, because Flames and also Dark, you know, basically creating toxins. A Poison Ice Houndoom, you know, basically like, you know, a Siberian Husky type of Houndoom would be, you know, something incredibly amazing. Tropius. Flying type? Get that out of there. I want my Grass Dragon Tropius. Tropius. Because here's the thing, Tropius, it's a tropical Pokemon. It's not in the Alola Pokédex, but it's in Sinnoh. But why is Tropius in Sinnoh? I don't think it makes sense, but if it's in Sinnoh, the region of dragons, make Tropius a goddamn grass dragon, okay? Or maybe even, you know, an ancient form of Tropius. Like, you know, maybe people took food, maybe they mount no Tropius, maybe they soared to the Mount Coronet on this kind of Tropius. But just make Tropius great for once. Come on, man. Tropius deserves some love. Very underrated Pokemon. Scyther and Scizor. They are Bug Flying and Bug Steel. So since Bug is the type that remains, that is the thing that I'm going to maintain as well. So Normal. Bug will be replaced with Normal. The Sinnohan Forms of Scyther and Scizor will be Normal Flying and Normal Steel. Because in Gen 1, Scyther could learn tons of normal moves, but he could not learn any bug moves. So this is also a callback to the 25th anniversary of Pokemon. So yeah, make Scyther normal instead of bug, you know, because Mantis, I don't think that Mantis are exactly bugs, they are more like insectoids, like how spiders and whatever. But yeah, you know, and also normal Steel, I don't think we do have a Pokemon with that typing, so I'm making Pokemons, you know, with very different typings to, you know, trying to, like for example, the Ice Poison or whatever more, and even the, yeah, guys, you know, not a Bug Scyther or a Bug Scizor, you know, just make them normal types and to get more steps from their moves, even Silver Wind, Razor Wind. And last but not least, a Fairy Absol, a predictor of disasters, and fairies back in the day, pixies, goblins, genes, you know, they were seen as nefarious, so the idea that we do have, you know, an Absol, but instead of being, you know, this white being from darkness, maybe it's a black Absol, but it's fairy type. That would be amazing. Also, now that I have, you know, the list, just a tangent for the starters, you know, because we do have the starters, you know, Cyndaquil, Rowlet, and Oshawott. If Cyndaquil, if we get, you know, basically different versions of the for the legend starters, the idea of Cyndaquil becoming Fire Ground because of Gunpowder or Fire Poison because of the smoke, the CGI continuing to have the flying type, never gaining the ghost, or Oshawott becoming bulky and getting the fighting type, water fighting Samurott, or getting, you know, more armor and getting the steel type, a water steel Samurott, basically being the Empoleon, quote unquote. And even with the fighting being the Poliwrath, because Poliwrath is basically a starter for red in the manga. So yeah, there are possibilities, folks. And yeah, maybe this Pokemon, you know, like we see, you know, maybe the beta. I want for beta Pokemon to be a thing here, you know, with Arceus being the alpha. But yeah, Sinnohan Forms, Ancient Forms, electromagnetic waves, Pokemon types existing differently before Arceus got the multi-type and the separation of the plates. Guys, this is a whole new world of possibilities in your hands. Sinnohan Forms. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment your ideas as well. Guys, this was an amazing video. So without further ado, thank you, and don't forget to capture them all, trainers. See you next time.